If you later find a good man, are you going to finally get married? I get this question most of the times, and I'm going to answer this question not because I care about the person that asked, but because I care about the people that also want to be single the way I am, or get asked this kind of question and then get confused on what to say or what to even think at that point. Okay, first of all, there is nothing like a good and bad person. Men and their stupidity aside, patriarchal system aside, there is nothing like a good and bad person. The reason is because people see the world differently. Sometimes what you see as good, somebody else is seeing it as bad. What you see as bad, there is somebody else that considers it as good. You may say that murder is bad, but so to some people, murder is like one of the good things. There are some people that just love doing it, all the serial killers and the rest. So you're not gonna say that there are some good and bad people. Also, people evolve. For example, there are some women that saw my videos around March last year, around April, around February, and they insulted me simply because they didn't understand where I was coming from. They said they were married once Amira, they insulted me, they bashed me and all that. Now they are back to my comment section, they are back to my DMs lamenting on how much they regret finally getting married, that they wish they have listened to me before. So I cannot come and call them bad people. I may have called them bad that time, of course, they are pygmies. But right now that they are lamenting, all I feel for them is pity. I just feel pity. But one thing with me is that as far as you made that mistake by yourself, I am not going to help you out of it. You have to help yourself out of that. So there is something called personalities. You cannot come and say that somebody is good or bad, because somebody that is nice today, tomorrow can become rude. Somebody that has a favorite color as red today, tomorrow can decide to say blue is not my favorite color. And life will keep going, because people evolve, people grow, people see life differently. So there is actually nothing like good and bad, because the person that you're calling a bad person has his or her own friends. They have people that have the same mindset as them. They are also living life. Secondly, people tend not to understand that somebody can actually stay and not desire marriage at all. First of all, if you desire marriage, likely it's not because it is one fun thing that you want to experience or whatever. It is because of the way it has been presented to you. You know, growing up, they will tell you that marriage is like, no, nobody may tell you, but the way you be seeing things, the way you be seeing people moving, is as if marriage is one of the goals you have to achieve in your life, you know, at certain points in your life. Because me, I remember when I was necessary, I went and told my uncle, you're getting old, go and get married. Right now, he's married. And now I have evolved. Back then, I had marriage in my head. Not because I desired it. I, Stephanie, since I was a child, I have never desired marriage. I have always said to myself, how I wish I wouldn't get married. How I wish marriage is not compulsory. Because that time I thought marriage was compulsory. Until I got to grow and I realized that, oh, this is actually a choice. This is something I can choose from, because I don't want to get married. So it's not about good and bad men. That's why when I see comments like you're heartbroken, I'm like, where is this one? Are you heartbroken? And then you're trying to project your heartbreak on me, because I'm not heartbroken. And I'm even a therapist on my own. I've been a therapist to couples. I've been a therapist to people that are dating. I've also been a therapist to individuals that came from family traumas and the rest. So it is you that is heartbroken, but you're projecting your heartbreak on me. I don't know why people always assume that anybody that desires to stay on their own, anybody that just desires to just, you know, live their life freely without having partners or whatever, that magically they must have faced heartbreak. No, that's not true. And there is no way, it's actually illogical to think that one heartbreak, or maybe two or three, from three guys, can make somebody suddenly start to generalize men and say, I don't want to get married. No. That when somebody says all men are the same, you have to listen to where they are coming from, because it's not possible. There is no way I'll use an experience I have with one man, two men, and start to generalize men. There must have been something that I saw. Okay. But when it comes to this aspect of marriage, I am genuinely not interested in marriage. Like, it's not about good and bad men. I just don't desire it. Okay. Now, thirdly, when somebody is doing their best to change your mind about a particular thing, it actually frames the person as a toxic person. You see these people in comment sections talking about, don't worry, you're just young. When you get older, don't worry. There are some people that genuinely, they cannot imagine having other people living the life that they want. Like, in their head, you are supposed to live the life that they are living. Married women are 95% bitter women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Most married women are 95% bitter. So now they are going to transfer their bitterness to you. They cannot imagine that you did not choose suffering. They cannot imagine that you are trying to live a more peaceful life. They cannot imagine that you are trying to live a more stress-free life, because being married as a woman is actually stressful. First of all, you're living with a man child. Living with a man is like living with a baby, but then in an adult body. That's what it looks like. And then you went and added children on top. You now gave birth to children too. So it is very stressful. So they cannot just imagine you living your life freely. As in their head, they are so used to the stressful life that they are living, that they imagine and think to themselves that other women are also expected or also deserve to live the same life that they are living. That's why it's rare for you to see married women that come out and tell you, please, if you're about to get married, be careful, think about it, prepare yourself. It is hard to see women like this. but you majorly see women encouraging marriage instead of them telling you the truth about marriage. What they're going to tell you is that this is how men are. Don't worry. You need to let tolerance. They will also use a phrase like, most marriages have ups and downs. That's what they will do, because they expect you to endure men. They will never go to men and correct them. They will never go to men and be like, oh, you need to act better, you need to, behave well, or treat your women better. No, they will go to the woman and tell her to endure and tolerate. And guess what? There are certain people that you do not try to change. This is just how they think. This is just their mindset. Just like, for example, African mothers, you don't try to change them. What you do is to just give them gap, give them that distance, because they will never see life the same way you do. It's something that they have to realize within themselves. Some of them don't realize till they die, and that's okay. So there are some people that you just cannot change, because this is how their mindsets have always been. Are you getting my point? So you cannot change somebody that has been trained like that, or somebody that has that kind of mindset till their old age, or maybe till 40, 50, and then they are coming out to give you that kind of advice, or think like that, thinking that all women are supposed to suffer and go through that, that stress. All you do is just to give them distance. Sometimes you don't try to explain your choices to people, especially your African parents. You just go ahead and do that thing that you want to do, that thing that you have in mind. So somebody trying to convince you to do a particular thing is actually toxic. For example, if that person tries to convince you the first time, and then you are like, no, I stand on my choice, I want to stay single. Maybe you also want to stay child-free. If you want to be a single mother, fine. Or you want to stay child-free, fine. But the person is still trying to convince you to get married. The person is still dragging you. Sometimes they'll be like, they are making you try to feel like guilty of your decision, trying to make you feel like their own mindset is better than yours. That's a toxic trait. That's a sign of a toxic person. So you should avoid such people. Avoid people that try to convince you to change your decision repeatedly. When they try to convince you the first time, second, and you refuse, the third and fourth times they are doing that, that shows how toxic they are as individuals, because it simply means they cannot respect people's decisions. Do you understand what I'm saying? As for men, stop listening to men completely. You see them in comment sections talking, stop reading their paragraphs, stop listening to them, because men benefit from marriage, so they will never understand where you're coming from. And by the way, they are not women. If I was a man, I likely wouldn't understand women too, because what we women are going through, men are not going through it. They don't understand what you're talking about. They don't understand the pains we go through every month. Only some, only few, 2% out of 100 men will understand you. Some of them, they only understand after you mention their sisters or their mothers. Some of them still don't get it. There is a guy I was talking about women, he wasn't understanding. I mentioned his sister. What if it's your sister or your mother that got raped? He still did not care. So there are some men that still don't care. When you mention all those things, they don't care. And I feel like it's actually a normal part of life, because when you are not going through something, you tend not to understand it. But if it is him that is going through it, that's when he will understand. And when you keep patriarchy aside, look at other aspects of life, you see that you yourself, there are certain things that when they tell you that somebody went through, you simply don't really care that much, because it's not you that it happened to. You're not the one going through it. Are you getting my point? So that's why I want you guys to start seeing the world different. You see the world in a different light, and you get to live a more happy and free life. Okay. Shalom, guys.